Harper Avenue and Harper Audio present The Paper Birds, a novel, by Jeanette Lynes, read by Denice Stradling. Dedication. Again, for Mike. Sometimes when the light strikes at odd angles and pulls you back into childhood, and you are passing a crumbling mansion completely hidden behind old willows, or an empty convent guarded by hemlocks, and giant firs standing hip to hip, you know again that behind that wall, under the uncut hair of the willows, something secret is going on, so marvelous and dangerous that if you crawled through and saw, you would die, or be happy forever. Liesl Mueller. Part 1. The Barracuda, 1943. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? William Shakespeare. 1. Gemma Sullivan had barely stepped into the foyer, hadn't yet shaken rain droplets from the umbrella she grasped like some soggy pelican with collapsed wings, when her aunt's question lofted, clarion-like, from the kitchen. 8 down crossword clue, baked beans or blank cream pie. What think you, niece of mine? Aunt Wren's epithet, niece of mine, always amused Jem, who laughed, then called back from the foyer, where the umbrella now perched on the drip mat, her own moniker of endearment. Bertie, can't you at least let me get through the door first? After prying off the pumps that had pinched her heels crimson, then flinging them beside the umbrella, Jem padded with her straw satchel into the kitchen, where her aunt sat hunched at the table, spine curved, ladle-like, tackling a crossword. Because Aunt Wren's spectacles had a cracked lens, they weren't much use. She held the magnifying glass, like some flattened crystal ball, close to the puzzle. Sometimes Jem helped, even if just by reading aloud the clues. She'd learned scads of new words this way. How her aunt loved crosswords. They were a portal, a pleasurable escape, mode of travel, dream realm rich with words that often surprised and tickled the tongue. Escape, yes, but increasingly, Jem suspected, a way to sidestep problems, like the overdue rent for their upstairs flat. The letter about this hadn't moved from the kitchen table since yesterday, but had been shoved farther away to merge with other mail, bills, flyers, newspapers. Jem's high school graduation diploma lay among these papers, too, its ink barely dry. Only a week had passed since Jem skittered across the stage, festooned with bunting, and received her diploma. She'd barely begun to ponder what to do next. But, whatever she did, it needed to bolster the household income. Near the stack of papers, soft mounds of Aunt Wren's sewing and mending, badly backlogged. Her seamstress work had become more taxing on her eyes, yet was Bertie's main livelihood. Jem was too distracted for puzzles. Her own day had puzzled her enough. It was a day that would alter the course of her life. She hadn't told Aunt Wren about the telephone call that started it all. Yesterday, while Aunt Wren had been out grocery shopping, Gemma answered the phone. It was her English teacher, Mr. Keene. A colleague of his oversaw a new office looking to hire young women with aptitude in language, a literary bent. He thought of Jem immediately. She'd been one of his best English students. He gave her the phone number to call for an interview. Jem didn't tell Aunt Wren about the interview. What if she wasn't offered the job? Why raise hopes, only to deflate them? Aunt Wren hadn't noticed Jem, dressed for her interview, scoot through the kitchen, saying she'd be back in time for supper. Bertie had been bashing away at a hem, humming along to radio music, and didn't glance up as Jem left the flat. Now, cooked turnips with their unmistakable whiff suffused the kitchen.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?